some of you are probably wondering is, what is CALDO? CALDO is a group of 9 Canadian universities that decided to create a specific office. So the CALDO office is a structure that belongs to the university. So we are not a private company or an agency. We are part of the member universities, and they decided to create this office to assist candidates that are interested in studying in our universities and are from countries where we have agreements with. So far, CALDO has agreements with countries from what it's called Latin America, from different countries in the Latin American region. And we provide support for candidates that are interested in studying graduate programs in Canada. By graduate programs, we mean mostly master and PhD programs. So everything that comes after your bacharelado and that entitles you to a degree. So masters and PhD programs. Currently, we work with 8 different countries in the region. This presentation is being broadcasted to all of these countries, or at least to candidates from all of these countries. And we would like to mention that we provide specific support to anyone from this country, but more precisely for people that are interested in bringing financing from their own country. So if you are considering to apply for a scholarship from your own country, or to bring some sort of financial assistance like a credit or some sort of other financial support, we have our servers are specially dedicated to this type of candidate. However, we can clearly assist anyone that is interested in knowing more about our programs. Just a quick note that right now there are convocatórias, so there are calls, chamadas, opened for Brazil, for Paraguay. If everything goes according to plan, they should open tomorrow, Becal. For Brazil is CNPq and CAPES. Right now they have a call open. There is a call from ANI from Uruguay that it's also open. There will be very soon the Mexican PhD and master calls that will probably open, probably later this month. The call for PhDs from Chile from CONICIT is supposed to open tomorrow, February the 15th. And there are also calls open from Colombia, from Colfuturo, up to the end of this month. Other countries, basically Ecuador and Peru, they have not yet announced when they will open scholarships. If you have any doubts where to find information for these scholarships from your countries, you can send us an email, and we can point you in the right direction, mainly letting you know exactly what is the website of the entities that are offering the scholarships. For those of you that are not familiar with Canada, there are some points that are probably interesting for candidates to know about Canada. So one of the things that differentiates CALDO Universities from other universities in Canada is that they are all research intensive, meaning that they have a strong focus in research programs, in masters, PhDs, postdocs. They all offer several hundred, when all put together, when we consider the 9 universities, several hundred programs in masters and PhD programs. And they all offer the programs in very state-of-the-art facilities. So all of the universities have laboratories with a lot of equipment. One of the things that most students recognize when they are doing research at our universities is the ability and the availability of research materials and research equipment that they have. So that's something that eventually you will, if you have the chance to study in one of our universities, you will probably notice the access to the equipment. One of the things that Canada is very known for is for the fact that it's a very multicultural country. So It's a country that it's mostly comprised of people that have come from somewhere else. So when you're in a CALDO University campus, you will find people from all over the world. You will engage with people from Asia, from Europe, Africa, uh, likely from your home country. Also, we have several students from the Americas, um, and it's a very interesting context because it's different from eventually your home country where there isn't a lot of people from different countries from other like countries. One of the things that you will also notice is that the faculty members, so the professors, are also coming from very different parts of the world. Um, one of the um, one of the features also of Canada is the fact that it's a bilingual country. So there are two official languages, English and French, and depending on the CALDO University, you might be able to study in one or the other language. And there's actually one university where in the same program you can study in both languages, obviously if you want to do so. One other thing that it's important for international students is that taking into account the North American standards, cities where the CALDO universities are located are fairly affordable. So in Canada, you have specific cities that have a high cost of living, mainly Vancouver and Toronto. But so far, none of the CALDO universities is located in these cities. So the cities where the universities are located are fairly affordable, um, obviously taking into account the North American standard of living. Looking into the Canadian academic system, once you finish your bacharelado, you are able to apply to a master's degree. The master's degree in our universities can be of two types. The first type is the thesis-based master, which is a master that comprises um, research. So you have to do a thesis in the second year. In the first year, you do your courses, you go to classes, and in the second year, you do mostly research. So you have a supervisor, and you are doing research during the second year. This is the type of master that will open the doors for a PhD. But there's another type of master that it's called a professional master or the course-based master. That it's a master where you don't have a thesis, so you don't have a second year where you are doing just research. You are mostly doing courses. You are going to classes and you are eventually gaining knowledge through going to classes and not so much through research. These type of master programs are more suitable for people that are just interested in gaining technical skills or gaining specific knowledge. So for example, it's very common in the engineering field. It's very common in the business field. It's also somewhat common in the health field. So people, professionals from the health field also might be interested in doing course masters. Our universities offer more programs in the thesis-based option because they are research-oriented than in the course-based option. But if you are not sure if the option that you're interested is offered in one or the other, you can always contact us and we will clarify that for you. Once you have done your master with thesis, you are then able to apply to a doctoral program, to a PhD, doctorado. The doctoral program will take usually between 4 and 5 years. In the first 2 years, you are doing a mix of research and attending classes. And in the last years, 2 or 3 years, you are doing solely research and you are working very closely with your supervisor. Two important aspects that you need to take into consideration, and we will talk more about this in the next webinar, so 1 week from today, but I will just briefly talk about this. For you to gain acceptance into a program, you will need to meet the admission requirements. So the admission requirements are basically making sure that you have the minimum level of language that it's required and the minimum academic average that the program requires. You will also need supervisors specifically for doctoral programs and most of the thesis-based master programs. If you are interested in knowing more about this, please register for the webinar 1 week from today, because that's where we will talk in depth about all of these things that you need to go through to gain admission. Talking about the CALDO office. So like I told you, the CALDO office was created by the universities, and the CALDO office is located in Canada, in Ottawa more precisely. So we don't have any offices in any other city. We only have an office in Ottawa. And through this office, it's where we provide all of our services, and for free. You don't need to pay anything. So you just need to send us an email or attend our webinars and ask us questions. The services that we provide are of two main types. The first one is informational services. So it's services on which programs our universities offer, which are the admission requirements, how do I contact the supervisor, things related to living in Canada, what is the cost of living in Canada, information on where to find specific um, specific content. So, for example, how do you navigate? Where can you find specific information on immigration? Information on scholarships from your home country. So all of these things we provide via email exchange. The other thing that we do is for people that are considering to apply to a scholarship from their home country or to bring financing from their home country, we also have a dedicated platform where you can create a profile where you basically let us know basic information. You upload some academic information and tell us which are the supervisors and the universities that you would like to get in touch with. And through that platform and through that profile that you create, we can share that information with our universities. And that way we can assist you in getting in touch with a supervisor. Please note that not all of our universities are they don't handle all the requests in the same time frame, but usually for you to contact the supervisor, you should be looking at, once you have all the information ready, between 2 to 3 weeks. That's usually how long it takes to get in touch with the professor. So the CALDO universities are the ones that you see on this slide, and we will talk more about each of them in detail in the next slide. But so that you know, if you're interested in studying in French, Université Laval and University of Ottawa are the ones that offer programs in French. Université Laval is mainly a francophone university in a French-speaking city in the French-speaking province, and their programs are all French. For PhD, there might be the possibility of doing the PhD in English. It depends on the supervisor. University of Ottawa, it's located in the capital city of the country, and it's a bilingual university. So it's a university that offers the most programs in English and in French. All the other are English-speaking universities. Before talking in detail about each of the universities, some reasons why you should consider CALDO universities. So like I mentioned, these universities are part of the top universities in Canada. They offer a comprehensive range of disciplines. So they offer disciplines from engineering, social sciences, health sciences, business. So all of the major fields are offered by our universities. Obviously, not all universities offer all programs, but between the 9, it's very likely that they will offer the program that you're looking for. They offer programs, like I said, in the fields of PhDs, thesis, and course-based masters. They offer also specific service for international students. So, for example, if you are just arriving, you can go to the international office, and they will provide you with information about the campus, about the services, and you have always the services of the international office to assist you with any issues that you might be having, either issues, academic issues, or day-to-day issues, like for example, accommodation in the city or something. All of our universities also offer language schools. So if you need to improve your language, they add the service. However, please note that the language services are offered by the language school of the university, so it's a paid service. This is not for free. Let's now look at the universities. University of Alberta is located in the city of Edmonton. The university is located in the province, the same name. And this province is where the oil and gas exploration takes place in Canada. And because of that, the university has developed expertise in the fields of energy. But the University of Alberta is one of the world top universities, so it consistently ranks among the 100 top universities in the world, and they are very well known and within the 50 or 100 top universities in the world in different areas such as nursing, mining, pharmacy, and education. They are home to the Canadian National Institute for Nanotechnology, and they rank sixth in the world for energy and environment research publication. In the same province, we find the University of Calgary. The University of Calgary is located in the city with the same name. The University of Calgary is one of the top universities in the world in the fields of veterinary medicine. They are among the 50 top universities in that field. They are also one of the most recognized universities in the field of biomedical research. And they also have a very strong focus in energy research. Um, they alongside with Alberta, they are the two CALDO universities that do most of the petroleum engineering or chemical engineering related to petroleum. The University of Calgary is also offers some specific programs that you don't find in a lot of other universities, such as, for example, programs in the field of architecture. Dalhousie University is located in the city of Halifax. So the city of Halifax sits just beside the Atlantic Ocean. And because of that, Dalhousie University is one of the top universities in the field of ocean studies and sustainability of the oceans. They have one of the top laboratories in North America, so the Aquatron Laboratory, where they do all sorts of research related to the oceans. Um, they also have specific programs such as agriculture and programs related to global development that you won't find in a lot of other universities. Université Laval is located in the city of Quebec City. Quebec City is located in the province of Quebec. So the province of Quebec is the French-speaking province of Canada. So it's where most francophone population resides. And if you are interested in studying in French in North America, this is one of the top universities and one of the best universities that you can choose. Specifically because it sits in a very wonderful city. Quebec City is not as popular as, for example, Montreal, but it's a more affordable city and it has a wonderful architecture because it mixes old European with North American style, which makes it really very, very different, especially when you look at the North American type of cities. Um, Université Laval is one of the CALDO universities that offer the most programs. They have a huge amount of programs that they offer, and they are very well regarded in the fields of agricultural and forestry, health sciences, and mining. Besides that, they also have specific laboratories like optics, photonics, geomatics, and climate change laboratories called the Arctic Net. So they do a lot of research in the North Pole about climate change. And like I said, they offer a huge variety of programs that are definitely suitable for anyone that is looking for French studies. Or if you are looking for English speaking studies at the doctoral level or at research level, like I mentioned before, it might be possible that a supervisor accepts to work with you in English. University of Ottawa is located in the capital city. So the University of Ottawa, like I said, it's the North America's biggest bilingual university. It offers or at least it tries to offer most of their programs in both languages, in English or in French. They are very well regarded in the areas of life science and medicine. Besides that, they are also very well known for the areas of law and political studies, mainly because they sit in the federal capital city. So they have developed a lot of expertise in the field of international relations, law, political studies, public administration, and so on. The University of Ottawa is also home to one of the three Max Planck centers for extreme and quantum photonics in North America. Moving on to the city of Kingston. The city of Kingston sits around 1 hour and a half away from Ottawa. So it sits between Ottawa and Toronto. And the university was in the news in 2015 because one of their professors received the Nobel Prize for Physics. But the university actually is more recognized in areas such as business, education, geography, and health sciences. So they have a very strong focus in business. They are consistently ranked as one of the top universities for masters in management, MBAs. They also have specific laboratories in fields such as fuel cell research, high performance computing, Center for Health Services, and policy research. The city of Kingston is a smaller city than some of the other cities that we are looking for, so it might as well be suitable for people that eventually are interested in living in a more um, quiet and friendly environment than, for example, a big city. University of Saskatchewan is located in the city of Saskatoon. The University of Saskatchewan um, sits on the province with the same name, and this particular province is considered to be the agricultural center of Canada. So it's where most of the agricultural takes place. And because of that, the university ranks as one of the top universities in the world for this particular area. They are also extremely strong in the fields of veterinary, and they have one of the top laboratories called the Canadian Light Source, that it's one of the world's leading synchrotron facilities. Moving on to Waterloo, where we find the university with the same name. The University of Waterloo is um, is home to the largest computer science department in Canada. The university has produced a lot of talent and a lot of innovation in the fields of computer science and information technology in general. And because of that, the city of Waterloo and the surrounding area has become a hub for technology. So there's a lot of high-tech companies that have built offices in Waterloo and around Waterloo because of the expertise of the university. But Waterloo is more than just computer science. They are also extremely well known for the areas of mathematics and statistics, architecture, and chemical engineering. They also have one of the top water laboratories in the world. They have developed a series of research areas where they are studying water from different perspectives. So the water laboratory is an interdisciplinary facility that aggregates people from different fields that are all interested in studying water, but from different perspectives. Finally, Western University is located in the city of London, London, Ontario. So London and Waterloo are relatively close. They are just in the south of Ontario, so really close to the border with the United States. And Western Universities among the 100 top universities in business, psychology, statistics, and economics. They have one of the top departments of civil engineering in Canada. They have their own wind tunnel, and they do a lot of um, state-of-the-art research in the field of civil engineering. And they are also very well known for their Brain and Mind Institute, which is a facility that studies neurosciences, and it's developing research in different fields related to neuroscience. One of the things that we also like to mention is how our universities are perceived from different perspectives. So there are rankings that are published yearly. So actually, this employability ranking was just published for 2018. So it's published by this company called QS, that it's dedicated to basically ranking universities and programs. And we were able to realize that they included five of the CALDO universities within the top 160 universities, world universities in terms of employability, which is something very interesting. Obviously, it doesn't mean that the other universities are not good in terms of employability, but it's always good to see our universities mentioned in different rankings. Also, the fact that our universities strive to be international or to have an international focus. There was a top 150 ranking for the most international universities done by the Times Higher Education, where it mentions two of our universities, so the University of Alberta and Waterloo, in the positions 31st and 34th, respectively, which gives an idea of how strong the universities are in terms of internationalization of their campus. So, going back to the CALDO services, I would just like to highlight that we at our office work as a single point of contact for information about all of our 9 universities. We will guide everyone that contacts us in the programs, admission requirements, and the steps necessary to gain admission into the university, or to know more about their programs, or to know about how to contact a supervisor. Via our online platform, you are able to create a profile that we can share with our universities. So for us to share with our universities, like I said, you have to be considering applying for financing from your home country, and you need to provide all the information required. That will give you access to getting in touch with supervisors. If you are not able to gather all the information, but you are still considering to apply to a university, we can still guide you on how to connect with supervisors. And once you're in Canada, we can you can still keep in touch with us, because we can still provide you information on trying to solve your situation, trying to solve any issues that you may have. If you're having issues contacting, I don't know, your sponsor agency in your home country, or anyone at the university for the resolution of some specific issue that you may have. One very important resource that we have and that we advise everyone to spend some time is in our website. So our website was completely redone in March 2017. It's almost a year, and the website is full of useful tools and information for candidates. So the website has different sections, and they are all aimed at candidates. And I would like to highlight two of the sections. So as you can see here, there is this red rectangle. In there it says steps to apply, which is basically the page that you see here. In that section of our website, you have 4 different steps that are basically what most people need to go through to gain admission into, for example, PhD programs. We also have a section called Tools to Apply that you will see here, that has a series of, like the name says, tools, like resources, that you can use to navigate the application process, to understand what specific things mean, how to contact the supervisor, how to write a statement of research, what type of language test is best for me, how to write a CV for a Canadian university. So all of those things are very handy for candidates. Afterwards, we have a section, news and events, where you can basically keep up with everything that's happening. But for that, we advise you to subscribe to our social media that you see here on the top. So we have a Facebook that it's always full of news of what we are doing. We have a YouTube channel where we put all our webinars. We have the Instagram where you can see some pictures and be aware of what's going on in the university. And we also have the LinkedIn page that it's basically more to advertise open calls, convocatorias, chamadas that are open, or some information about our universities that it's relevant. If you want to know more about the universities, check out our universities section, and for knowing more about studying in Canada, go to the section that it's called Studying in Canada. So all of these things are tools that I would advise most of you to just check it out, even if it's just out of curiosity or to gain a bit more information. Finally, for the ones that want to reach us, I will advise everyone to write to this email, graduate.coordinator@caldo.ca. So at this email, I am the person that monitors this inbox. So when I say that you can write, you can feel free to write because I'm the one that will read your emails. You can write in Spanish, you can write in Portuguese as you prefer. We might take a bit to reply, but usually it never goes above 2 days. So usually we are pretty quick at answering the email. Right now we have, like I said, after half an hour, exactly half an hour now, we can open the presentation to questions that you may have. So how will this work? For the ones that joined us after the webinar started, you have a chat box there, and you can write the questions that you may have from sorry, in Spanish or in Portuguese or in English, as you prefer. I will answer all questions in English, but I can definitely read your questions if you write them in Portuguese or in Spanish. So I will wait for some questions to show up. Um, and once they start showing up, this is usually nothing is happening, and after a while, like 5 questions pop out at the same time because you're always writing at the same time. But I will go through the questions as they show up. If you are not able to be with us from now, you can always send me an email, and I will answer your questions afterwards. So I'm just going to open the chat box, and I will start looking for questions. Let me just see if there's any question from the moment where I was presenting. Okay, so the the topics are just introducing yourself, which is fine. So I think the first question is actually from Karen. ¿Cuál es el calendario académico en Canadá? So the school year in Canada starts in September. Okay, so September is usually where most programs start. Then you can have more admission dates. So you can have September, and then you can have January, which is called the winter term, and you can still have a third one, but not all programs offer the second and the third one. So the third one would be around April, May. One thing that you need to keep in mind for the admission process. The admission process has deadlines. Okay, so you need to apply in specific by a specific date. Some programs are a bit more flexible. So if the date has passed, some of them they still allow you to apply. But if the program is very popular, the deadline is the final date by which you can apply to that program to start in a specific date. So for example, September. And it's important to notice that for you to apply for September, usually you need to for you to start in September, usually you need to apply by the first 3 months of the year. So usually it's up to March, depending on the program. Some programs are a bit early, like January, but most of them might go up to March, early or late March, depends. So that's something that we need to confirm whenever you're thinking about the program. Um, so someone is asking my name. So my name is Paulo. So like Pablo, but Paulo, it's the Portuguese version of Pablo. Um, so let me see some more questions here. Okay, Angel is asking about programs to improve English or French before the start of a master or a PhD. So Angel, like I mentioned, all of our schools have language. All of our universities have language schools. In those language schools, you can perfect, you can improve the language skills. Okay, but one thing that they require is the fact that you will need to have a previous test. So usually the tests are the TOEFL, IBT, or the IELTS academic. And once again, I will talk about this next week. You will need to have this test for them to know which level are you in. If you don't have this test, eventually you can come to Canada, do a placement test, and they will tell you what is the level that you have. But depending on how much money you have to spend in improving your language, it can be somewhat more expensive than obviously if you do it in your own country. So usually what I recommend is that if you don't have the option to come to Canada and stay here for 1 or 2 months just improving the language, the best option that you have is to enroll in a specific course to prepare you for the TOEFL or the IELTS academic in your own country, and then take the test. Okay, so you can do it different ways, I guess. All of these things you will need to pay for them because there are no scholarships for language programs. Okay, so language programs always need to be paid by the candidate, unless you are coming with specific scholarships that may have that option. But the only one that I know is CONICIT from Chile, but they will. It's more just to improve the language. Actually, it's not so much to improve. Not so much to improve, but to train to get a bit better. But you need to be almost at the level that the program requires. Um, Luís António, para mestrado em História ou Ciências Políticas, quais universidades que recomenda no Canadá? So, Luís, one of the things that it's not very easy for me to do in these webinars is answer specific programs. So I can tell you right away that political science, so for example, if you look into Ottawa, they will for sure be one of the top universities in that field. But there are others, I would say Queen's, but I would advise you to send an email because via email I can do some research and I can tell you specifically which are the universities that offer that program. Adriana is asking why Caldo doesn't work with Argentina students. So Adriana, we don't have anything with the other countries because we work based on agreements. So the agreements that we have are with agencies that provide scholarships. And at this moment, we don't have any agreement with an agency from Argentina. That's the only reason. That's why our services are not open to people from Argentina. However, like I said, our website has a lot of resources that you can use, and through that you can always get an idea of what the universities offer. Um, Dennis, um, is this service have a related cost? No, Dennis, our services are totally free, so there's no cost in using the CALDO service. However, when you formally apply to our university, so let's imagine that you are not sure which university you want to study in. You contact Caldo, and after 5 or 10 emails, you decide, I want to go to this university, so I'm going to and apply in the website of the university. The application process has a cost, okay, and it's usually around 100 Canadian dollars. So usually you have to pay with a credit card. But that's the only cost. So it's not a CALDO cost because then you're applying to the university. It's not related to CALDO. Josephine is asking, I have a question about the supervisor. Must we do our thesis with them as in their labs? So Josephine, the supervisor is the professor that will follow you, that will help you in your thesis. So basically you will work alongside the supervisor during your research. You can be working in a lab or depends on the topic. Like if you're studying social sciences, probably you might not have any lab. But if you're studying pharmacy, yeah, probably you will have a lab. Or if you're studying mechanical engineering or chemical engineering. But yeah, the supervisor will be someone that will be working or will be assisting you. It will be guiding you, but doesn't mean that you're always working with him. You will do work on your own. Irving, to apply to this program, what kind of English certification we need? So Irving, next week we will talk about this. You will need the IELTS academic or the TOEFL IBT for English. There are other tests that might be accepted, but these two are accepted by everyone. Or if you're applying for a French-speaking program, you can use the TFI, the DALF, or the DELF. Ricardo, oh, sorry, I lost here the track. Irving, to apply to a program, what kind of English certification we need? Sorry, I already answered. AMSI. Pergunto se todos os programas da nova universidade oferecem financiamento com CONACYT. AMSI, no. CONACYT has very specific rules. CONACYT will only accept programs that meet specific financial requirements that they ask us. So you can apply to thesis-based masters, but Laval and Saskatchewan are not eligible. So all the other universities are fine, except Laval and Saskatchewan for thesis-based masters. Or you can apply to a PhD at any of our universities, and those are fine. Carlos Hernández, ¿cuál es mi mejor opción si soy matemático? So, Carlos, just out of the top of my head, I would say that Waterloo is definitely one of the best options for the areas of mathematics. However, all of our universities offer mathematics. In our website, if you go to our website, under our universities, there's a small arrow that is beside our universities. If you click there, you will see research areas. Research areas have the most popular programs from our universities, and under sciences, you will have mathematics, and you can see all of the universities that offer mathematics. So these research areas is eligible for anyone. You can just check it out, and it will give you an idea of which are the universities that offer the most popular programs. So there are more programs that they offer, but those are the most popular there. Emanuel, ¿hay alguna maestría en el área de inteligencia de negocios? So, if you can send me, Emmanuel, an email exactly with a link of a similar program to what you're looking for, I can let you know. Because our universities have different programs in the business area. So they have analytics, they have different modalities. Obviously, I don't know everything just out of memory, but send me an email and we can look for that. Pabla, soy Carolina de Colombia. Las becas ofrecidas de cada universidad CALDO tiene becas para estudiantes inscritos a través de esta plataforma. So CALDO does not have scholarships. Okay, Carolina. So CALDO does not offer scholarships. Our universities, they have scholarships, but the scholarships are administered by the universities. So CALDO does not have any influence on that. ¿Cuál es el valor promedio de un máster en un tipo de universidades? 40,000, 70,000 al año. No, Carolina, $40,000 or $70,000 only if you are studying like MBA or one of those more expensive programs. But for most masters, you are looking at around between $15,000 or $25,000 a year. Okay, there are universities that are more affordable than that. So, for example, a master at Alberta, you would be looking around 10,000, 9,000. I'm including some living costs here also. Okay, but for living costs, usually you are looking at around $15,000 a year. Okay, for a full year, 12 months, and then you have to add the program costs. But one thing is sure: if you are studying, if someone needs to do a PhD, you are either accepted if you have a scholarship from the university or if you bring a scholarship from your home country. No one is paying for a PhD at our universities, or it's very rare that someone pays for a PhD. For masters, for professional masters, you need to pay for the program. Thesis-based masters, there might be also financing available. But once again, if you're able to bring a scholarship from your home country, it will be great because, as you can imagine, the scholarships from our universities, a lot of people are wanting one of those, and you're competing with people from all over the world, so it's fairly competitive. Sebastian, what are the language tests in Canada? So Emmanuel helped me here. So the IELTS, yes, and also the TOEFL are the most common ones. Janina, my question is, what is usually the language test required for a PhD? So I just answered that. TOEFL, IELTS. Raquel, sou do Brasil e queria saber se existe previsão de financiamento por parte do Brasil pela CAPES ou CNPq. So Raquel, right now, CNPq has uma chamada aberta. Okay, they have an open call. CAPES has one open call, but it will end on the 21st of this month. So next week, okay, it will be but CAPES, you can apply to 2 universities, and you don't need the admission date by the 21st. You just need to find a supervisor, okay, which is pretty good. However, both of them only offer scholarships for doutorados or postdoctorados or doutorado sanduíche. Ricardo, is it possible to apply to more than one CALDO university at the same time? So Ricardo, like I said, for you to apply to the university, you need to go to the university website. However, if you want to create a CALDO profile and you want to try to contact supervisor in different universities, you can do that. Okay, so you can do you can put all of the 9 universities in your profile in the CALDO, and we can share that with the universities, and they will try to contact the supervisor that you're interested in. If you want to apply to each university, then you can, but you need to pay the admission, the application fee at each of them. So that's the only thing. Taina, I'm still studying my graduate course. When should I start to apply for a master program for chemical engineering? So, Taina, if you finish in July 2019, you can start looking for the information and contacting professors 1 year before. Like you can start in September this year, for example, September 2018, looking for the information. Because as you can imagine, um, professors need to plan things ahead. So if you want a supervisor, they need to know about that like several months before you arrive in Canada. Um, so Cabana Hernandez is asking, what is the deadline for the convocatory? Is the convocatory open all here? So we are talking about here two things. So the convocatorias are offered by the agencies in each of your countries. So we have different agencies. In Chile, there is CONICIT. In Mexico, there is CONACIT. In Colombia, there is Colfuturo. In Brazil, there is CAPES and PQ. All of these agencies, they open convocatorias. So they open convocatorias for a specific period of time, usually a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months. It varies. So that's where you have the deadlines for the convocatorias, and then you have the deadlines for the programs. Okay, sometimes the two don't match, so you might have a deadline for a convocatory that finishes first and the deadline for the program. When that's the case, the universities are fairly flexible to analyze your application before the regular deadline. Okay, so you just need to inform us that you're considering to apply to a specific scholarship, and the university basically speeds up the process of analyzing your file. Hopefully, this helped to clarify a bit. Andres is asking if it's necessary to have a research-based master if you want to apply to a PhD. Andres, it's highly recommended because if you don't have research experience and if you're not able to prove that you have it, the professors probably won't accept work with you. So it's always very good to have some sort of research based master before applying to a PhD. If you have research done by, I don't know, you're working on an environment where you do research, or your pregrado had a lot of research, you can mention that. But like I said, in most cases, the professors prefer the students with the masters when they are applying to a PhD. Um, Diana, ¿hay alguna opción para la universidad que financie el master? Yes, there is. Like I said, our universities have financing options for thesis-based masters. For professional masters, no. But for that, you need to contact the university because we don't handle scholarships. Zampeng is asking what is the best option for electrical and telecommunication engineering. Well, that depends on the research that you want to do. So once again, all of our universities offer electrical engineering. That's where you will find most of the topics of communication, telecommunication. Um, Depending on what you plan to study, um, some of them might offer what you're looking for. So once again, if you go to our website and take a look at the research areas for electrical engineering, you will find as electrical and computer engineering, but they have specific topics just for electrical engineering. Probably you can have a better perspective. But I would say that all of them would be suitable options for you. But like I said, depending on the research that you want to do, some might be more suitable than the others. Sammy, I got an MBA in Baltimore. I need to do the TOEFL test again. Depends, Sammy, how many credits you did on your MBA. If you studied in the US, it's likely that You won't need it, but once again, it depends on how many credits you did. Samuel, as chamadas do Brasil terminam em February. Se começar esta aplicação, consigo finalizar a tempo. So Samuel, like CAPES, like I said, they don't require the admission letter. However, the deadline is next week. It's like a week from today. So what you need to do is you need to try to contact the supervisor in 1 week. So it's difficult, probably very difficult, but since you don't need the admission letter, if the professor replies to you right away, might not be impossible. But once again, it's a very short deadline. So, but you can send me an email, and if you have a specific program, we can look into it. Pablo diz aqui, com futuro em Colômbia, também tiene crédito becas para estar em inglês para responder à pergunta. No, yeah. Thank you, Pablo. Gabriel, you said that the thesis-based master degree takes about 2 years, one of course and another of thesis. The non-thesis-based, it's the course-based master, takes 2 years. Are the courses the same? Are the costs different? Gabriel, the course-based masters usually are a bit shorter, so they are between 1 and 2 years. Okay, some of them might be 2 years if you take more time to do the courses. Okay, but usually I would be looking at one year and a half. Are the courses the same? Yes, they should be the same. The thing is that in the course-based master you will probably do more courses than in the thesis. And are the costs different? Well, they might be different. So, for example, if you are doing a business program, the cost will be different if you're doing the thesis or the course-based method. But if you let me know afterwards via email what is the program that you're looking for, the comparison, I can give you an idea of the cost. Tayana, do universities accept TOEFL ITP? So unfortunately, no. The TOEFL ITP is not suitable for academic purposes for graduate programs, so for mestrados e doutorados. You will need to do the IBT, Sienna, so the internet-based test. Samuel, what of these universities you think is the best option to study engineering, or doesn't matter? I know that there are top in the world, but there are some more specific. So Samuel, it depends on the type of engineering and, like I said, on the type of research that you want to do. Okay, so for that I will need to know a bit more about the type of topic that you're looking for, and that way we can guide you better. Postdoc is available in CALDO groups in any CALDO university. Yes, they are, as long as they offer the area that you're looking for. Sorry. Vanessa, I made the IELTS and my score was 0.5. Is there a program accepting this score? Vanessa, I would say that the minimum that programs accept is around 6. Lower than 6, it's not likely that anyone will accept. The best range to be is around the 6.5. That's where most programs accept. So someone is asking, I would like to have access to this presentation. Yes, you will have access to the presentation tomorrow. I will send an email to everyone with the video and also some links. Christian is asking if it's necessary to return to your country when you finish the PhD. If you're applying with a scholarship from your home country, I believe most of them you will need to go back to your country for a specific number of years. Usually it's the same number of years that you were abroad. In some cases, it might be double. So if you were abroad for 4 years in the PhD, you need to go back for 4, or in some cases, you might need to go back for 8. If you don't want to go back, you probably need to repay everything. So yeah, just make sure that you take all of these things into consideration. If Josephine is asking if CALDO offers help in applying to scholarships by the CALDO universities. No, we don't offer any assistance for scholarships at our universities, but you would need to contact the university. Maria Barros, se puede acceder a becas a través de Becal Paraguay. So Becal in Paraguay, they finance doctorados and maestrías. Their conditions for the scholarship are a bit restricted. So they only finance universities that are in specific rankings. So not all of our universities are eligible. However, Maria, you can send me an email and we can look at what you're looking for and see if which are of our universities would be eligible. Um, Maria Barrios is asking what's happening. ¿Qué pasa si no tengo idioma inglés? So, Maria, all students need to show evidence that they meet the language requirement. So, if you don't have the language test scores yet, you need to do it, and you need to have the minimum score that the university requires. Okay. Um, Hector, what are the possibilities of obtaining a fellowship for a PhD in civil engineering at Waterloo? What is the annual cost? So, Hector, like I said, for a PhD, the university won't accept a student that will pay for the program. So you will either need to have a scholarship from the university, or you will need to bring a scholarship from your own country. So what happens is that if you want a scholarship from the university, the best way is for you to contact the department and see which sort of financial assistance they provide. But in most cases, they will provide you a scholarship that would cover your tuition, so the cost of studying, and also provide you money to live. Okay. Um, Solvay, I live in Canada. What level of CBL one or CBL I need? So I'm not sure what you mean by CBL, Solvay. So if you can explain that. Um, Adriana, sou paraguaia, poderia aplicar algo na Universidade por meio de CALDO. Maria da Argentina também deseja aplicar um programa. Havíamos alguma possibilidade que é por meio de CALDO. So Adriana, we can provide you information to both of you. Like there's no problem. The only thing is that we only have an agreement with Paraguay, so we only know Becal. We don't know any agency in Argentina. That's the only thing that we won't be able to do. Um, um, Diane, you mentioned Queensland. So Queensland is not a CALDO university. Our university is called Queen's University. Queensland, it's from another country. If they have scholarships to finance masters or PhD, yes, like I mentioned before, our universities they'll offer scholarships. So that's true for all of them. Sammy, if I can give you your email. Sammy, if you go to the top of this conversation of the chat, you will see my email there. So it's graduate.coordinator@caldo.ca. Tomorrow you will also receive an email from me. So you can answer afterwards to the email that you will receive. Um, Diana is asking if there's some sort of cutoff grade from college average. Yes. So, and once again, next week we will talk more about this. For most cases, you will need a GPA, so you'll need an academic average of around 75% of the last 2 years of your bacharelado. Okay? So you go to your grades and you see, okay, is my average around 75% of the 2 years, the last 2 years? If it is, great. If it isn't, you need to see, okay, is it much lower than that? Like if it's 50%, if it's 60%, it's probably very difficult for you to gain admission into a program. If it's 73, 74, 70, probably it will be possible. Um, so one more question and we will close for today. Um, So, Luiz is asking, in Brazil, CNPq está com bolsas até 6 de março. So, scholarships up to 6, March 6. To get a supervisor by that date, how should I proceed? Okay. So, like I said, if you contact CALDO, we are able to assist you in finding supervisors. Okay. We will let you know where to look for the profile of the supervisors. You will read about them and you will find out which of them are of interest to you. Once you do that, if you create a CALDO profile, we are able to share your information with the university. If you are not able to get all that information, we will still be able to give you some tips, some indication on how to write an email to professors, and you will write the email to the professors, introduce yourself, and we will see if you get some feedback from them. Okay. So, but like I said, for students to contact supervisors, you need to give time because sometimes the professors are not in the university. They might be traveling. They might be in conferences. They might be, I don't know, preparing classes. So they don't always are on top of their email. So I would like to thank everyone for taking the time to be with us today. Next week, so exactly 1 week from today, we will have the webinar on admission requirements, on application, how to apply. Okay, this is a series of 3 webinars. So today we did this one, which is a more general one. Next week we will do one for the admission, and 2 weeks from today we will do one about a more um, living in Canada, and under the topic of living in Canada. Okay, a more non-academic topic. Okay, so thank you so much for being with us today. In Canada, people are celebrating Valentine's Day today. I don't know if they are celebrating that in your home country. So, if they are, happy Valentine's Day for all of you. Have fun and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you so much.